So, I'm back. I got my hair cut. It's a little bit different. I saved more on top, but it's the same length of the sides, and then there's a transition upwards. So it might look the same, but it feels a little bit different. And I think I like it so far. We'll see. We'll see. So, it is now Wednesday, the 15th of October, and welcome to this reading vlog. I'm starting a new reading vlog. I'm going to read at least 2 books in this reading vlog, and I am going to read the 2 books that I have left on my October TBR. So it is this one for a thriller, and then I have A Drop of Corruption for a book with a sound in the title. Drip drop, a drop of corruption. So at least those 2 for this reading vlog. And then when I have finished this one, I am gonna put up the poll that I talked about in my October TBR video with the Spookopoly game. In that game, for my last roll, I ended up on poll pick. So I'm gonna try and put up a poll here on YouTube. When I say try, I know how to do it. It's just that I don't know how many people will be voting. And you won't be, you know, you will be seeing this afterwards, because I will be doing it in the middle of this video, so you will see this afterwards. And we'll see what the poll says, because my plan is to put up the poll when I start A Drop of Corruption, so that I know what book to read when I'm finished with that one, because the poll is gonna be between 2 or 3 books that I have left in my TBR card from the library, so that you can help me decide which one I'm gonna read next. So yeah, that's how it's gonna go. So my war against the flies is ongoing. I think I'm winning. I just have to persist, because now it's like 2 flies a day, and they are better at escaping. But at least there seem to be less being born and surviving birth. So I still feel bad about having a war against the flies. It still feels like I don't want to do that. I want to let them live and I want to share the space. But it's like it's them who can't share space with us, because when I tried to let them and I just, you know, try to keep the kitchen clean and everything like that, and just do my best and not go after them, they were everywhere where I was. So, and in every like a hole in my face. So every time I opened my mouth, I almost swallowed a fly, or they were up in my nose or in my ear, and all of that. And that's where I draw the line. Like, you can share the space where we live, but don't be up in our faces, you know. That's kind of where my line is. So anyway, I'm gonna share a little bit about the book I'm gonna read. So I just went to put my food in the oven for my lunch. Okay, so this is the book, and as you see, I've started it a little bit. I haven't gotten that much into it. I started it yesterday evening, and I'm on page 31, or my next page is 31, chapter 3. So this is Good Girl, Bad Blood. It's the second book it's the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I think there's at least 1 book after this as well. So I do adore this little chap here. It's a cat with a heart, and I got it from my dad, but I'm not fond of it just doing it. So I'm trying to put it up here when I talk. I'm not fond of it spinning around when I talk. I want to be able to move the book. So anyway, this is by Robert Jackson. So I really enjoyed the first book. So in the first book we followed Pip, and Pip is, or was, a high school student that was working on a project for school where she dove deeper into an old case. There was a girl that had gone missing, and I think also her boyfriend had been found dead, and he was accused of murdering her and then killing himself, so it was like a closed case. But Pip felt like there was always something off with this case, so she teamed up with the accused murderer's brother, little brother, to find out the true story. So they did that in the first book, and in this book they have solved the case, and they are making a podcast about it during the trial of the case. So that's where I'm at right now, where they're making the podcast. And there's supposed to be another case in this book as well. So even though Pip has said that she's no longer a detective, because there were so many things happening in the first book that kind of messed her life up, and there was a lot of people hurt, and yeah, it didn't really... the case was closed, but, or like solved, but her life was turned upside down. So even though she's sworn off being a detective, there's supposed to be another case in this book, but I haven't gotten to that yet. There's supposed to be a kid named James that goes missing, and she is gonna use her newfound platform as this person who solved this case with this podcast that's been gone viral, and she's gonna use that platform to help solve the case. That's all I know so far, so that's kind of where I'm at with this book. Where I am at chapter 3, they are in the middle of the trial of the first case and making a podcast about it. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to you when I've read some more. It's about 400 pages, so I will get back to you when I've read 100 pages or so. Something like that, when I've gotten in, when I feel like I'm into the book a little bit. So I hope I'm gonna enjoy this as much as I enjoyed the first one. It's mixed media, so it's a mix of like podcast manuscript and some interviews and that sort of thing. So far all I've seen is one article and a podcast manuscript and then the regular writing. But there's supposed to be a little bit more in that. So I really look forward to that, because I enjoy mixed media. I found that out about myself. So yeah, I'm gonna have some lunch soon, and hopefully I will get to read a little bit more of this today. Okay, so I feel like I have to do this before I read any further, because now I'm into the book and I just keep on reading. So I am on page 152 out of about 400, I think, in Good Girl, Bad Blood, the second book in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So, as I said in my previous update, or like in the intro to this video, so this book is about Pip. She is 18 years old, she's still in school, and this book is about the disappearance of Jamie Reynolds. So, when he disappeared, his brother and mother came to Pip, because Connor, Jamie's brother, know Pip from school, and they are actually, I think they're friends, and they know that she has this successful, gone viral podcast since she shared about the previous case that she solved. So they come to her to ask if she can help them investigate Jamie's disappearance. And first she says no, because she doesn't want to do that anymore, but she decides that she's gonna go to the police for them, because she's like, I have a relationship with the local police now, I might have some sway in this. But since Jamie is 24 years old, has had 2 instances of leaving home before and to cool off after arguments with their dad, the police doesn't see him as a high-risk person, so they are like, sorry, can't do anything. So Pip decides that she can't just leave it alone, so she goes along with the investigation and helping Connor and his mom. So that's kind of what this book is about. They're trying to find Jamie. And there's a lot of things that they presume, there's a lot of leads that they follow up on. And I remember from the first book that there was a lot of things that you kinda saw like, oh, this could be something, and then it turned out to be something completely different in the end, which was one of the good things about that book. There's many good things about these books. I really enjoyed this book as well. As I said, I'm into it now. So I'm gonna keep reading, and I will probably get back to you when I've read it, if not before, because I'm gonna fly through this, I think. I have 7 books at home right now because I went to the library today to return 4 books and borrow 1. Good on me, right? Just one. Just the one that I had I was on a waiting list for. Only that one. Of course, when I got home, it didn't take long for me to get a text from the library. Oh, your last book that's on your waiting list for has arrived to us. You may pick it up within a week. And I was like, of course. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm gonna have some afternoon fika and see you later. Okay, so it is Friday evening and I have just finished this one. I flew through it. It was really thrilling, so prompt fulfilled, I would say. And I was gonna wait until tomorrow to talk about it, and maybe I will refilm this, but I also don't think that I want to wait to start something new, so I wanted like a clean break between this one and my next read. So okay, so as I already told you, in this book they are looking for Jamie Reynolds that's gone missing, and I really can't say more about the storyline than that because I don't want to spoil it, because I really think this is very much recommended if you like thrilling stories. And yeah, so it is YA. So if that's not your vibe, then maybe not, but I really enjoyed this one. And there was just like not twist after twist after twist, but it felt like there was always something happening. And I think by the middle of the book I had kinda started to expect a certain ending, but I didn't get the ending I expected, and I did really enjoy all the twists and turns, and it was really unexpected. So I actually am giving this a 5-star. I was contemplating like, should I give it a 4.5, and I was like thinking, even looking what I gave the first book, I gave the first book 4 stars, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna be cheap with my 5-star ratings, because I read this in like 3 days or something, and I couldn't have asked for more because I was really caught up in it. So just like with the book I read before this one in my last vlog, I gave that one a high rating as well, and just as with that one, wanted to pick this up. So I really wanted to pick it up. I wanted to continue reading, and it was, I know it's a YA and therefore quite an easy read, but it was more than that. It was it pulled me in and it held me tight and it really gripped me, and I could feel for everyone, and I think the author really did some good work describing Pip's emotions and other people's emotions, and really following her ups and downs, and without spoiling anything, towards the end Pip gets into a really traumatic event or a situation, and she does get some PTSD, or she does get PTSD from it. And the author does a really good job at describing what that feels like, reliving the situation over and over, and like having it living inside of you in a way that people that haven't had significant trauma in their lives, like specific events, don't really understand, I think. And this was a really good description of that. And yeah, because I've been through some stuff, and it really, you know, it becomes a part of you, and you don't want it to be there, but it's always present, and you can't just put it down. And so that was just one of many examples where I thought the author did a really good job at describing not just the events unfolding, but also the emotions. And I think this book was slightly better than the first one, because I remember in the first one thinking that there were so many loose threads everywhere. Some of those threads I think were picked up in this book, because there was some things happening in this book that was planted in the first book, but we didn't know it yet. So some of those threads were picked up, but I'm more talking about like you know, loose threads in the line of like they followed a lot of leads in the first book that didn't really pan out, and they were just kind of lost in space. But in this book, I think it also maybe is supposed to reflect that Pip is getting better at what she does, and that she really kind of enjoys what she does when she's solving a case. So she's better at it, and she really is better at distinguishing what is a real clue and what is not, and what might be good to know for later. And she kind of stores all of those things in a better way, which makes me feel like it's not just loose ends like with the first book. So I think the author really did a good job at showing how she has grown into this, and grown as a person, and learned. And yeah, so it could be a reflection of Pip's development, but I also think it's the author that has progressed as well in her writing style, and with her writing, and what to keep and what not to keep, and that sort of thing. So I think it's the editing of the book is better in this one than the first one, I would really say. I'm kind of amazed at how good this was. I'm gonna be a bit selective with waiting lists going into the winter time. I'm thinking that I need to get up to date with my reading journal. And when I'm up to date with my reading journal, I'm gonna make a video about all the series that I'm in the middle of, and trying to make a video figuring out which series I want to continue and which I don't want to continue, and kind of sort all of that through from the last year, because I feel like I am continuing series, but I haven't really no idea how many series I'm actually in the middle of. So I want that kind of written out somehow, and I wanna talk about it. So I'm gonna do that eventually. I'm quite behind on my reading journal, so it's gonna take me some time to do that. but I'm slowly getting there. So, okay, that's it for this book. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Now I'm gonna see if I need to digest this a little bit, or if I'm just gonna hop into A Drop of Corruption. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Okay, so I am back, and I have some time because my partner is off for some evening shopping. We are going out into the woods tomorrow, so he's gonna buy some things for us to take with us to eat in the woods. So I have 3 books here that are, I think actually 2 of them are due this month, October, and 1 is due early November, but all of them can be, I can extend the loan on all of them in case I don't read them in time. So let's meet the contenders. We have The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro, and it didn't say anything on the back. It says, the Romans have long since departed, and Britain is steadily declining into ruin, but at least the wars that once ravaged the country have ceased. The Buried Giant begins as a couple, Axel and Beatrice, set off across the troubled land of mist and rain in the hope of finding a son they have not seen for years. They expected to face many hazards, some strange and otherworldly, but they cannot yet foresee how their journey will reveal to them dark and forgotten corners of their love for one another. Sometimes savage, often intensely moving, Kazuo Ishiguro's first novel is a decade is about lost memories, love, revenge, and war. And I've heard some good things about this, and when I read the synopsis earlier, I was like, yeah, that seems like a good book to read, because I really enjoyed Never Let Me Go. I think that's the first book, right? Yeah, and that's the only book I've read by him, but I've read it several times and really enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to reading this whenever I get to it. The next book is the second book in a series by C.S. Lewis, and this is what it looks like in Swedish, so it's a translation. Let's see if I can find if it's called the same in English. Yeah, Perelandra. The first book is Out of Silent Planet, or something like that. So it says like this. I'm gonna try and translate. Okay, so 2 people are crashing through the clouds over Venus in this book. One of them represents an unfathomable evil, and the other one is sent out on a horrific mission. And on this quiet planet Venus, they are coming face to face in a fight or struggle that will decide a young and innocent world's fate. I think that's the way to do it. And then it says that this book is about the old theme about the struggle between good and evil, but it's the intensity and the clarity in this book that makes it unique. And then it says a lot of things about C.S. Lewis. So I've been meaning to read some more by him that isn't Narnia, because I really loved Narnia, all of the books. So this is going to be my second book that isn't Narnia, I think. And yeah, my dad said that the first book is the best book, and that the other 2 in this series or this trilogy it goes kind of downhill from there. So I don't have very high expectations because I really enjoyed the first book in this series. I don't know the series name. So, and it seems to be that it's not about the same people. It's more like the same kind of science fiction theme of a sort. And then, finally, Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So, let's see. This is an Inheritance Games novel. I think this is the second book after The Grandest Game. Like it's the second book in the Grandest Game series, but it's an Inheritance Games novel. Only one can win. 7 players have arrived on Hawthorne Island to play a billionaire's game. Now only 5 remain, and the race to the finish line is on. The heat turns up on the competition between the players, and it becomes increasingly clear that no one will emerge from the grandest game unscathed. Yeah. Millions are at stake, but so are hearts and lives in the grandest of games. So, I don't remember if the other book, The Grandest Game, did that maybe end. I thought that had an ending, but so 7 players. I don't know if this is, because now on the end page here, Games Untold is also in it, but I think it came out after this book. I hope I shouldn't have read that in between, because they don't have that at my library. So I'm thinking I'm gonna double check that before I put this on in the poll, because I can't read it if there's supposed to be a book in between. I don't really enjoy accidentally skip books in series. So I'm gonna look that up before I put it in the poll. But we'll see. I do have another book that's also due in early November that I can put up. It's a feel good. So if I can't read this now, if I made a mistake, then I might put this one in the poll. It's let's see what it's called in English. The Little Bookshop of Lonely Hearts by Annie Darling. And this is like, I felt like I wanted something more light-hearted to bring home as well when I was at the library. And so I had like this random letter generator of all the letters in the Swedish alphabet, because we have 3 more than the English alphabet has. And then I just randomized it, and I got a D. So I went to the section of D for Darling, and I looked at the ones that they had, and they had Lucy Diamond, Lucy Dillon, Annie Darling, and then I had one more. And so I picked a few books and read the synopsises of them, and this is what I came home with. So this is about, it says like this on the back. The customers is betraying the little bookshop in Bloomsbury. When Posy Morland suddenly inherits the store, she is forced to put down her beloved love novels or romance novels and instead face everyday life. Because Posy doesn't just get a sinking business, she also gets unwanted attention from Sebastian, and the real life become a shocking experience. Posy's idea is that in just 6 months, transform the store to the bookstore of her dreams, with like shelf after shelf of romance novels. But while Posy and the staff is struggling, Sebastian is becoming ever present, not just in real life but also in Posy's fantasy. This is the first book in her series, So I actually think I read the synopsis on another book, like the second or third, and I was like, oh, but I have to read the first one. So I found the first one, and I pulled it out and I took it home. So I haven't actually read more than just bookshop, posy, good. Because I feel like you have to do so many things wrong to go wrong with a book with a bookshop in it, right? So, yeah, we'll see what I put up on the poll. Okay, so I checked, and of course I made a mistake. Games Untold is supposed to be read before Glorious Rivals. So the positive news, the good news, is that I do have the opportunity to extend the loan on Glorious Rivals, and Games Untold was available in the library system, but it will probably take a couple of weeks for it to reach me. So I won't be able to have it in the poll, and Not Glorious Rivals either. So both of those are gonna have to wait until November, but I'm probably gonna get to them in November. So yeah. So that's good news but bad news, because I was looking forward to reading it. I really was. So I'm gonna have to put up the other ones in the poll. Yes, here we are, a bit high up. We're here to have some dinner and then walk home in the dark. And it doesn't show yet, but the sun is about to set. It actually started setting like 4 minutes ago, somewhere over there. Okay, so somehow I have completely forgotten to talk about this. A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. So I guess I'm gonna do that now, because I'm a bit into it. I think I'm about 80 pages into it. And I completely forgot to talk about it at all. So, A Drop of Corruption. So this is the second book in Shadow of the Leviathan, something like that. And the first book was The Tainted Cup. And I was looking forward to exploring Din and Din's life and Din's personality a bit more in this book. So in this book, it seems to be quite a while after the first book, so I was expecting to kind of jump from, the last book right into this one, like time-wise. I was expecting it to be set just after the first book, but it's not. It seems to be maybe a couple of years, or no, wait, maybe 1 year after or something like that, almost. So that's kind of disappointing actually, because there's some things that I wish we would have seen that we didn't get to, and some things that I was like, oh, this is gonna happen, and then they just didn't. Din is just looking back at them from the first book, and I don't know, it just feels a bit weird to skip ahead a whole year, because in the first book it was the first case that Din and Anna had together, and this is the fifth. And I was like, where's the other four? Where's the other four? So far, Din has gone to another part of the world in this book to help solve a case, a murder case, and Anna has come after, and they are working on the case. I'm not sure how much I want to say about it, because about the case, because I don't want to spoil it. So there are things that kind of bothered me in the first book that still bothers me in this book. Among other things, it's that there are a lot of words and a lot of things that aren't explained, like the system of measurement. What is a span? What is, there are so many words that like, oh, he was this tall, or it's that far away, and they use like measurements that haven't been explained, and I'm like, how am I supposed to know what that is? How am I supposed to know how tall that person is? I have no idea. How am I supposed to know how far away that is? I have no idea. So there's a lot of things that kind of aren't explained, that I wish were explained. I wish there was like an index with words, like a glossary or something. So it's kind of bothering me more in this book, because I was expecting some explanations. So far I am not impressed by this book, but it's readable, it's readable. So I'm gonna continue, and we'll see what I think. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about it when I'm a bit more into the book. So yeah, maybe tomorrow. It's Sunday today. I forgot to say that. It's Sunday. Okay, so I wanted you guys to be here for my unboxing. When I'm recording this, it's Friday the 24th of October, and I just went to pick up this package that is holding my Christmas calendar for this year. I'm so excited. And it's kind of a funny story, because me and a friend were chatting on, and we were discussing Christmas calendars, and we found this calendar that I'm gonna open up, and we were both like, well, let's order it now when we have the money, because I haven't indulged in anything since my top surgery. Almost nothing except, the basic stuff. And I have been wanting one of these calendars, or this type of calendar, since last year. Last year I was like, next year I'm gonna go for this one. Or actually I wanted to go for one that I saw on this site where I usually buy my Christmas calendars, and I usually go for tea calendars. So I saw this one, I saw a special one, and I was like, I'm gonna go for that one next year. And then this year rolls around, and they don't sell that anymore. And I was so sad, because they release all of their Christmas calendars between, September, October, that shift. and they didn't, and it wasn't even on the coming soon list, and I was like, oh. But then 2 days ago, me and my friend on Wednesday, we found this one, and we were both like, let's do it. So anyway, I'm gonna stop babbling now. I'm gonna take my gigantic pair of scissors and do it this way so you don't see the address. Okay, let's see. This is kind of the best way I can do it, I think. Holding it up like this. It's not heavy, it's about 1 kilo. And it's not actually that well packed. Look at this. This is like, it's so bad. It's so bad packed. But anyway, so it's actually upside down. Da-da-da-dum. 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 And don't worry, I don't know what it says on the front either, because it's Finnish. And I don't speak Finnish. But it's a hot chocolate Christmas calendar. 24 days of cups of hot chocolate. So this is supposed to contain... I'm gonna see how much I can open it up without spoiling anything for myself. You know, so it's got this cute little bow that I didn't show you, of course. Because why? Why would I be that attentive to this box? Okay, so I have to cut some plastic here. Let's see if I can do that. Yeah, and then on the bottom. And of course I got some tape stuck to the scissors. Look at how cute that is! Look at how cute that is! Look at this! It's adorable! It's adorable! So each of these little boxes, 24 of them, contain enough for like 1 cup, and they're supposed to be 12... No. Yeah? Let's see if I can find some Swedish on this one. No, but I can count. Okay, so there's recipe instructions. That's good. Let's see. I'm sorry, it's just, of course there's recipe instructions. Of course you have to know how much to mix with what, but it's so funny. Like, empty the bag into the mug, pour 250 milliliters of hot milk and stir well. And I think 250 milliliters, I think it's 2 cups. Like the measurement cup, like 2 of those, I think. I'm not sure whatsoever. So anyway, let's see, because there is an ingredient list on this, so it's all of the tastes and what they, yeah, with the ingredients, in case you're allergic. So I have already read a list of all of the tastes on the website, so I have spoiled myself for that. I think the order of them will be what will excite me. And also because my friend and I are doing this together, so we have talked about meeting up on WhatsApp, a video call, you know, to kind of rate the hot chocolate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, it's 12 different tastes. Is that a word? Tastes? Blends? Flavors. Flavors. I know English. Flavors. So there's 12 different flavors. That's the word. So I can read them for you if you want to. Because I'm not gonna vlog especially about this, but when I do my sun weight calendar updates later in November and December, especially in December with this one, yeah, I'm gonna be drinking it, so I'm probably gonna share what the flavor is that I'm drinking, but I probably won't share about all of the flavors. So the flavors in this one are, so this is a spoiler alert for anyone you know, wanting one of these if you live in Sweden. Probably Finland as well. Gingerbread cocoa mix, caramel cocoa, vanilla cocoa, salted caramel cocoa, double chocolate cocoa, peppermint cocoa, hazelnut cocoa. I love that all of them is named cocoa. Raspberry cocoa, dark chocolate cocoa, orange cocoa, white chocolate cocoa, and strawberry cocoa. So I know I'm looking forward to trying the gingerbread, and I'm also looking forward to trying the peppermint and the hazelnut. And well, I love chocolate. I love chocolate, and I love hot chocolate. So yeah, so there's 2 of each. And my thought is, I rarely drink regular milk. I use like lactose free. I don't like milk. I don't like milk that much. But I have used it on occasion, and if I go to a cafe, I ask for oat milk. So I guess not. So I use oat milk, right? So it says milk on this one. But since I don't drink regular milk on a daily basis, I'm gonna use oat milk for the first round of every flavor. And then I might mix it up if I feel like it could be enhanced. Like, I'm probably not gonna use regular milk, but I might use other types of like vegetable based milks, you know. So or water. So I'm gonna use oat milk for this. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna use. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. It's so adorable. It's adorable. And now I'm gonna try and make this cute little bow again. And it's gonna stand on my shelf together with my drums. I have put my drums on a shelf. Well, not this one, but I have 2 other drums. And I put them on a shelf, and this is gonna go over there, I think. Because it's the shelf above my little TBR card thingy. Word box. So I'm gonna put it there. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna show you how it sits, or where I put it. So this is how it looks. You see my drums, and then you see my microphone that I can't use for my computer right now. And well, I can use the microphone, I think, but it's a struggle. So anyway, down here are my books from the library, and yeah, there's books there, and yeah. So in this little box here, I'm gonna put my Sunweight calendar books eventually. So having my chocolate calendar up there will be wonderful. I'm gonna redo a little bit here later on, I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna redo behind me a little bit when Sunweight is approaching. So if you wanna follow my Sunweight journey with my Sunweight calendar books and my chocolate, you're very welcome to follow me if you haven't, and subscribe and comment, like, all of that stuff, and I will see you soon. Okay, so welcome back, or welcome back to me, I don't know. So it is currently Sunday, the 26th of October, and I have finally finally finished this book. I have finally finished this book. A Drop of Corruption by Robert Jackson Bennett. And if you follow me on Fable, you already know what I thought about this. So I recently edited the vlog where I read the first book in this series. And in that vlog I said that there were some things about that book that I just felt like I needed to just let go of to be able to enjoy it. One of the things being the writing style, the world building, that everything wasn't that clear, and I talked for a long time about the Leviathans, whatever. I also said that to be able to enjoy the second book I would have to still let go of these things. So the thing is that I think those things irked me more with this book than with the first book. I could have done with maybe the writing style. I could have done with some other things that I found a bit annoying in the first book. Like, one thing that I actually didn't really think about that much in this book was the world building, how little of it that is actually explained. And with the first book I was really annoyed with where does the Leviathans come from, what's the backstory, you know. I had let that go for this book. I didn't really care. I focused on the mystery, and I focused on Din and Anna. One thing that really was something that I did enjoy in this book was, you know, their personality and the characters. And I also really liked the character of Malo, or yeah, I think Malo, right? That we also meet in this book. So let's see if I can just... In this book there's another mystery, you know. So Din and Anna is solving a mystery. They are being called to a new part that we haven't visited before, called Yarrow Dale, I think. And the people there are called Yarrows. And there's a person that has been killed, and the thing is, he's from the Empire that they are from, so they are being called there because he's from the Empire, right? And then when they get there, it becomes even more complicated because of a lot of things that I would not be able to relay even if I had time, I think. And I'm glad I don't want to spoil it, so that's why I'm just gonna not tell you about it. But it's another mystery they're gonna solve, okay? And in the beginning I was a bit frustrated that it had been so much time from the last book to this book, and I would have wanted to know what happened in between, you know, for Din and for Anna and that sort of thing. But as I went on with the book, I understand that, and I understood that, you know, the concept of just hopping back in a few years later isn't new. So I kind of let that go after a while. I think mainly this book just confused me. I feel like I don't really know where to start and where to end, and what I liked and disliked, and I can't really categorize it because it was kind of... it wasn't that straightforward. And first of all, it took me 179 pages out of 450 to feel like I was invested in the story. The first 179, I was actually contemplating, do I want to read this? But I did want to, you know, I did like the characters, so they kind of pulled me in. So, but it took a long time for me to really get invested in the story. And then I thought like, okay, good, some things are happening, they are getting to solve the case now, and you know, I was invested in the mystery. But then I don't even remember what I felt. And then after that I don't really know what happened. I just, when I think back on it, I felt frustrated that the case weren't going anywhere. It felt like they were going in circles, and there were just more things happening and nothing was resolved, and I felt like we're gonna be here forever. And I didn't really feel like picking the book back up, but I did. But I never got that feeling of, oh, I want to sit down and read a lot tonight, or I want to sit down and read a lot today. I'm gonna make headway in this book. I was just like, I hope I finish it soon. And then I kind of kept feeling like that, and I was like, this is gonna be like a 2.5 stars. It's insane. I only enjoy the characters. And the mystery, it was like a 3-part mystery, and it did come together in a satisfying way towards the end. And you know, I did enjoy how it all tied up in the end, but that was kind of it, you know. So I can't really, I hope I have made some sense when talking about this, because I can't really put it into words any better. And that's kind of how my mind felt when reading it. And there was a lot of times where I found myself having to reread a page, mostly because of the writing style. And I don't know what it is about the writing style. I did tell you, I think, earlier that I was not amused by the fact that they use measurements I don't understand. I did get a response on Fable when I asked people about it. I posted a picture of the book, I tagged the book, and I said to people, if anyone knows what how far a league is and how big a span is, please tell me, because I don't understand it. And it really annoyed me more in this book. That's one of the things that annoyed me more, because it felt significant and I didn't understand it. I did get a response on that, and that it's measurements that aren't used as much today but has been in the past, something like that. And I just, yeah, I learned about that quite a bit late, so it didn't really give me much, but I'm happy I got that response, so now I know, kinda. I'm not sure how many stars I'm gonna give this. When I had finished it, I gave it 3.5 stars on Fable, because I did enjoy the ending. So I think the feeling I got when the book had ended kind of dragged it up. But when I'm thinking about my overall experience with this book, it took me 180 pages to get into the book, and then I felt like, oh yeah, we're going somewhere, and then it just churned on, and I just felt like we weren't getting anywhere, and I felt like I didn't want to pick it up. And when I did, I just read like 1 or 2 chapters and then I put it down, and it wasn't like bad, but I didn't enjoy it that much, and I didn't think about it, you know, between sessions. I just felt like, okay, I hope I finish it soon so I can read something else. I did want to know the answer to the mystery though, so I think that kept me going a little bit. And Anandin and Marlowe. So it kind of churned on, and then towards the end I was like, okay, thank you for wrapping the book up in a good way. So when I read this book, it felt like the author was not native English speaking, some kind of other language. I don't know what type of language, and then translated it without having someone check the grammar and the sentences before, and then also trying to sound Old English. That's kind of how it felt, and it bothered me immensely. Not a fan. I don't know if this is a type of writing style that has a name. Maybe it is. If it does, please tell me, because then I know what to stay away from, because this just ruined it for me. The writing style really ruined it, because the world building aspect I could look away from. It didn't bother me as much in this book, and every other problem I really had with this book can be related to the writing style and the writing in itself. I do think that the author does a great job of building characters and making them have a personality, and it really showed in instances where people were supposed to be a lot alike because of their alterations and that sort of thing, and it really shone through in a good way, the differences and the similarities, and you know, it synced up in a way. I read it through. I think I'm gonna give it 3 stars for now, because if I give it 2.5 or 3.5 stars, I'm not gonna give it 2 or 4 stars. I don't think it's a bad book. Not bad enough for me, you know. This is my experience I'm talking about, not fact. So in my opinion, it's not bad enough to grant 2-star rating, but it's definitely not good enough for a 4-star rating. I think maybe 2.75. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, and I have decided on the next book according to my poll, my YouTube poll. It's gonna be Kazuo Ishiguro's book. I'm gonna put the title of the book up here so you can see what the poll picked, because you picked that for me. So I'm gonna do some calculating, and if I deem that this vlog is not too long, I'm gonna incorporate reading that book as well. But if I think that this is enough for one vlog, I try to keep it under an hour, you know, in total. Then I'm gonna make it a reading update. And if I make it a reading update, I'm gonna put that update, and I'm gonna link it, that video here, or at the end of this video, so that you can watch that. Because if you were you know, if you voted in the poll, you might want to know what I thought about the book. So with that said, I will see you in whatever comes next, a reading vlog or reading update or whatever. And yeah, happy reading everyone. Xingling.